The Old Town Christian Outreach Center is a church located in Saginaw off of Gratiot Avenue. They are not just a church that preaches the gospel every Sunday and says, "See you next week." A huge part of the members focus on serving the community. They show this through bake sales, raising money for local nonprofit organizations, and running their own soup kitchen every week. If you do not know what a soup kitchen is, it's pretty much a place that serves free food to people who are homeless or destitute. They run the kitchen every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and they get the food from not only members at the church with extra canned foods, but also from restaurants that they must get rid of food from a deadline that approaches. They also sell merch like the sweatshirt that's shown in the top left and give 100% of profits into the soup kitchen. They've been a church since the late 90s and started the soup kitchen up in 2002. So this has been going on for nearly 20 years. You can see in these pictures that it's a decent size and not just a handful of people. Lines often go around the entire church and further down the road into the neighborhood. The reason why they do this is because Christianity says to give back, help the community, honor your elders, and help the underprivileged. So as many of the actions this church has taken to follow Christ, we, the Avengers, chose to focus on the soup kitchen.
The main problem that the Old Town Christian Outreach faces is simply the number of volunteers for their Saturday morning soup kitchens, as well as retaining numbers of volunteers for future days. I have personally been there when they were lacking volunteers, and it made things very difficult. There are a number of tasks to be accomplished in each time, from unpacking and sorting the food to handing it out and helping people get their food to their vehicles. With a lack of volunteers, there is not enough people to successfully operate the food handouts. As a group, we wanted to find a way to increase the number of volunteers for the organization.
Since the main problem that we discovered was the lack of volunteers, our group needed to come up with an idea that would help the outreach center find those volunteers. Initially, our group planned to volunteer ourselves and attend at least one of the Saturday soup kitchens. However, we knew that the four of us would not be able to make a difference in the way that 10 or even 20 people would be able to. That said, we devised a plan to make flyers to hang around campus in order to attract volunteers. The image in the top right shows what the flyer looks like, explaining the who, what, when, where, and why of the event.
The results we found were the more volunteers that the organization had, the smoother the process went. The smoother the process allows for more food to be distributed in a faster time. Another thing that increased was food donations. This allows the church to feed more people that are in need. Some future plans that we had would be hanging up more flyers, not only on campus, but other places in Saginaw, like grocery stores, that could help gather more volunteers. Reaching out to local organizations in the community would also benefit by having them donate more food. Some limitations for these future plans would be the lack of volunteers and ways of knowing if we were getting more volunteers. There's no really way of knowing this, so we would just send out more flyers, which would help more people notice that the organization needed help.
Old Town Christian Outreach is a very important organization to the Saginaw community. By making these flyers, our hope is that they continue to gain more volunteers to keep the soup kitchen going strong.